going on, Jerome's? It's beautiful Thursday. Birds are chirping and stuff. It actually is really nice here in the great state of Minnesota. And the NFL Combine is kicking off legitimately tonight. Today, as the Underwear Olympics is getting going. But actually, more important than just checking the boxes, can a guy run really fast in a straight line in a space-age design suit, wearing track spikes, coming out of the blocks? Can he do that? Or how is this kid in the meeting? Like, personality-wise, will we mesh? Right, all that stuff. Are you a dog or a dinosaur person? It's ridiculous, man. But combine meetings are going on right now, and it's a little bit like speed dating. Of course, like each team has a suite, and then the prospects come in. It's good. It's good stuff, man. So the Vikings reportedly have met with a handful of prospects, and there's some pretty noteworthy names. First off, I want Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi to meet with every single player on this team, especially interior offensive line and D-line, and be like, what would you say you do here? All right, so for the Vikings, some big-time names, some heavy hitters they've been reportedly meeting with. A lot of these reports came from Rap Sheet as well as NFL Network. So the top three quarterbacks in the draft, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, all reportedly have met with the Vikings among a gaggle of other teams. So it isn't just like, oh, they're meeting in secret. They're meeting at the Indianapolis Wendy's, which with surge pricing. But yes, I mean, the Vikings, depending what happens with Kirk, they could be motivated to get into the stratosphere and go get their guy, and they're doing their due diligence right now. And it's interesting because the Vikings, they shied away from meeting with Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud last year, but I think the Vikings, unless this is a huge feint, like I think the Vikings are very clearly telegraphing their intentions this year. So, well, I mean, we'll see if that's legit. I mean, the rumors and scuttlebutt last year is that the Vikings were trying to trade up for potentially Anthony Richardson, and I don't think things have changed. In fact, since this quarterback class is a super caliber, or at least is seen as one of the best quarterback classes in NFL history potentially, and with Kirk Cousins potentially leaving free agency, I mean, you think that would increase the need for speed or just a QB. But May, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams, I would be okay with any of them. Now, I think that it would take. I think it's likely Caleb Williams still at 1 with the Bears. So it would take a little bit of juggling up at the top. The Bears go a different direction. They go with May or Daniels, and then the Vikings do some business with either Washington at 2 or the Patriots at 3 to get one of those guys, because I still think it's going to be win, play, show, QB up at the top. Christian Mahogany out of Boston College at 6'3", 322. Now, he's an interesting name because the Vikings are still in the, hey, smallish outside zone, lateral quickness offensive lineman, but I want to get back to having absolute monsters on the inside, man. I want to get back to David Dixon, Randall McDaniel. Well, McDaniel wasn't. Yeah. Hutchinson. I want Matt Burke. I want some size on the inside, man. And Mahogany, many leather-bound books, 82.2 PFF grade last year, 7 pressures, 0 sacks, 0 goose egg, D'Angelo Russell. So he does have some decent movement skills. We'll see him up close and personal at the combine. But he brings size. He brings leverage. He brings some attitude in the run game as well. Probably seen as like a day 2 selection. Most of these other guys are seen as day 2, other than Murphy the second. And then 2 day 2 edge rushers. So Adisa Isaac coming out of Penn State, 6'4", 248. Now, Chop Robinson, gets a lot of the headlines from Penn State, and rightfully so. But Isaac is a stud in his own right. 33 pressures, 7.5 sacks, 16 tackles for loss in 2023. Now, he's probably not going to be a 3-down player right away. Does need some work to fill out his frame a little bit, but as a situational pass rusher, a guy who's involved in a platoon to start, I think he certainly could fill that role. And with Isaac, he's largely seen as a I don't even say like fringe first round pick, but somewhere in day 2, towards the upper end of day 2. So that's noteworthy, as the Vikings do have number 42 in the second round, and they could have a need at the edge if Danielle Hunter and if DJ Wanham leave in free agency, and if Marcus Davenport, then Braylon Trice, real name no gimmicks, coming out of Washington. So he was a big part of that Huskies defense, but couldn't stop the run against Michigan. But 6'4", 270, 80 pressures, 7 sacks, high motor, and really good suddenness there. Now, He's not as twitchy as you would ideally like on the edge, and that could stunt him a little bit in the NFL, but all heart, all hustle, team captain, great leader as well. He certainly will serve a purpose and will have a role in the NFL, likely as a day 2 edge rusher selection. Of course, our guy, Byron Murphy II, corner in the Murphy second market in the NFL, but 6'1", 308. So he is like a compact ball of just energy on the inside. I think the comps between him and Ed Oliver, Lance Erline put out there, I think the comps between him and what Sharif Floyd was coming out of Florida, a little bit longer arms than Sharif, but I think that he has a chance to really be that B-gap destroyer of worlds. 45 pressures, 5 sacks, 8.5 tackles for loss last year. Quick-ass first step, just has some great size on the inside as well. So I think that the Vikings just stick and pick and take Murphy II at 11, pending what's already happened at quarterback. Like, say Kirk is back and they get Murphy II at 11, and then they maneuver either in the second round or back into the back end of the first round and scoop up a quarterback. Could certainly be okay with that. But, speaking of quarterback, the Vikings are doing their diligence up at the top. So, like, even if Kirk is back, I think if it's like a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal that's disguised as a 1-year deal, I could see the Vikings still moving up and going and getting their guy. And obviously they're going to be at all these guys' pro days. So they're doing the work. They're not really hiding what they're doing. It's interesting because when the Vikings took Harrison Smith back in the day, at the back end of the first round in 2012, Spielman had talked about they specifically did not meet with him. They specifically did not bring him in for a top 30 visit. They did not go to his pro day because they wanted to hide their intentions of going after the hitman. But it doesn't seem like that's what Kwesi and company are doing this time around. But we'll see what happens. I wish we would keep track of, like, the Vikings are meeting with this guy, or hey, top 30 visit, or and then what happened on the board. Who knows, man? But your thoughts are thoughts. Take a look at who the Vikings have reportedly met with at the Combine. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.